Hello, everybody. This is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. On this episode is a special one. I've had two Class M teams in Killingly and Tolland. Now I have the Abbott Tech head coach, Dave Simone. Coach Simone, it's a pleasure to be able to have you on.
Happy to be here.
I think, I haven't had, at least to my recollection, since I started this podcast going way back, I've only had one other coach who was at Thames River for football, which
Mhm.
was a part of the combination down in the Norwich area of getting, tech players to come into the program. But this is different. This is one team, one school, and I'd love to be able to have a head coach who kind of brings the tech side to the game of baseball.
Yeah. This is my 8th year at Abbott, and I came from, I graduated. I went to Immaculate in Danbury, and I'm a Danbury guy, so I knew about Abbott Tech, growing up, and I knew the stigma about it, the stereotype about tech ball and all that stuff. And after I got done playing as a, overseas, I came and I got the head coaching job at Abbott Tech, and it was interesting the first few years. It was definitely a transition, coming from my where I was playing, and seeing the tech brand, the tech ball. But growing that over the years, I can only say good things about the kids. The kids love playing. They want somebody to coach them. They're hungry, and they're very respectful kids, blue collar kids. And sometimes tech ball does get a bad rap, but I always try to get people to come down and watch, because they only go off what people hear, and they're always surprised after they come to a game. They're like, oh, this is better than expected. So, the tech brand. I'm proud to be a Abbott Tech, the Abbott Tech head coach for the past 8 years, and looking forward to the future, and see what we could do.
Would you say, Coach, with you guys being right now, you're 16-2, you're the sixth seed going into the Class M state tournament. Would you say that this is one of of the 8 years you've been the head coach at Abbott Tech? Would you say this is one of your, I don't want to say better because I feel like that's kind of disrespectful to the past teams, but would you say that this group, this nucleus of players, you are extremely proud of because of what has gone on because of COVID-19, losing last year and then
Yeah.
having to speed things up to play this season?
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of our more talented groups, more polished groups. I've had some good teams in the past. One year we made to the quarterfinals in Class M. I had a good bunch, and but this year, and especially the last few years, I know we didn't have a season last year, but I'm starting to get more polished baseball players right out of the gate, right out of freshman. I'm not getting where I have to teach a kid something that he should have learned in Little League or Babe Ruth or whatnot. I'm starting to get those more polished athletes where, freshman year, they're ready to go with better baseball IQ and, the little things. So I would say that's gotten better. But, this group this year, especially missing the last year, because I always said we had two freshman classes, that sophomore class, they didn't have that year of development. They didn't have that year of growth, but they came together quickly. We only had two seniors, so we didn't have too much upperclassmen to lean on. But like I said earlier, this group has been playing with each other in the Little League level, and in the Babe Ruth level. So they do have that chemistry, which I think is very, very important. And baseball is playing all year round with each other and trying to keep that group together and form that chemistry. But this year's group, yes, I would say top to bottom, the deepest, most talented group I have in 8 years I've been at Abbott.
Now, with the players being, as you mentioned, so prepared to where you don't have to worry about wasting time, and time is of the essence for everything, especially
Yeah.
for a coach. You only have so much time, especially leading up to games, practices, and so on. So, are you in deep into the little league kind of the programs within the area? Because I would think if you are, that's kind of how you think about the premier programs, the New Canaans, the Trumbolls.
Yeah.
You can go on and on. I'm talking all sports, not just
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
but football. There's a feeder, kind of like a minor league, a pipeline leading up.
Absolutely.
I think of Ansonia. I've been calling the NVL football for years, and Ansonia, it's amazing how these kids from the time they're 5, they run the same wing T hammer, and by the time they get to high school, the coaches don't even need to teach that. They can go into other parts of the game, and that's why they're so successful. So is that something that you're deep into as far as that area is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a stickler for me for ever since I got to Abbott. If you go down to Rogers Park and go onto the main Little League field there, Field One, on the scoreboard says Wolverine baseball up there. I try to have a presence down there. I've done camps, I've done clinics. I do the camp for the Danbury Westerners every year. I've been doing that for the past about 5 years now.
Mhm.
So I'm very active at down at the youth level. Because I take a page out of Danbury High School wrestling. Danbury High School wrestling is powerhouse for past 25 years or so, and it's because they had a good feeder program. They have a great feeder program. That they got the kids on the same page. Early in elementary school, middle school. So that kind of spark plugged my ideas, and I had to get down there and I had to show my face. I had to run camps and clinics and whatnot, and that kind of led into me. I've been the Danbury Legion coach for the past 3 years, the 19U level. And this year we have a 17U team and a 13U team. We just put together for this past summer, for this upcoming summer. So, and that's where majority of my kids are going to be playing is on that 7U team altogether. So having those building blocks and having that feeder program, I think is essential and is very important for any program to be successful.
So my guy, Coach Rashford at Danbury, then.
Yeah, Coach Rashford's. Yeah, me and Coach talk a lot, and he's actually going to be coaching with me this summer. He's going to be
I saw that.
yeah, no, Coach Rashford, he's a great guy. I mean, I've known him for quite a long time. I'm fortunate that he's gonna help me out and coach this summer. So I'm looking forward to picking his brain even more.
He's forgotten more baseball than I could ever remember, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. I had him on before the season, and the way he was speaking, like I've talked to many coaches throughout my years broadcasting, and I don't know if I've talked to a coach who talked more about his staff than he did himself, talked more
Mm-hmm.
about the players than himself. And it's the way the team ended up. I know they didn't win the FCX championship, but for how they started the season and the way that not just the way they finished, but from the midway point on, and then now they have a pretty good seat as far as the state tournament is concerned. I
Yeah.
texted Coach Retchford a couple of times. I was like, "How are you doing this?" And he's like, "The players, all the credit goes to them, the staff." And I'm like, "Dude, you're a class act."
Yeah. No, Coach Rashford, he's a wealth of knowledge, baseball knowledge, and and we talk frequently during the season. I bounce ideas off him, and I look for him for advice and guidance, and because he's been there for almost 30 years now, 25 years. I don't know how many years, but I know it's a long time. So he knows what he's doing over there. So I've leaned on him a couple of times there and picked his brain, and he's always there. He always wants to help. So I'm looking forward to this summer and actually coaching with him on the same bench. So
Is there anything that he has either told you or mentioned to you that you were able to implement either into your own coaching or maybe something that you did at the youth level in your camps? Because I feel like with him being such, having a plethora of knowledge, that is something that you could use even for the younger kids. Because even for kids as young as 7, 8, 9 years old, any little bit could help them immensely.
yeah, no, I definitely modeled some of my things after Coach Rashford. Like he owns that Denver High School youth camp. He's been doing that every summer for forever. So and that was something I modeled up, and that's why I got into the camps and tried to develop my own brand and tried to develop that feeder system, and so that's something definitely I modeled after Coach Rashford. And the X and O stuff, and nobody runs a better delay steal than Coach Rashford. I don't know if you know about that, but nobody teaches it. Nobody's better at the Denver High School at that delay steal. So there's certain things. I watch his games. I watch how he coaches. That I've modeled after, and especially this summer, I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of him.
Now, seeing the success, now going back to the present as far as your team is concerned, seeing the amount of success that they've had this season and seeing where you are in Class M, did you have a feeling, maybe even going back to 2019, that this team had a chance? Now, I know it's hard to predict because of what 2020 had done, and 2021 was not even a thought for the
Yeah.
longest time. But did you just have a feeling that this group of players that you have had a chance to be able to do something special as long as they just had the reps?
Yeah, no, I definitely had that feeling. My assistant coach Duke Hart, I got to give him credit. He's heavy in the down at Rogers in the youth leagues and too, and he was telling me about this group coming up, and Tyler Meeks, Danny Gaudio, Justin DeFonts, Leo, all these young guys. I knew the names, but I didn't really know them. And then I went down to Rogers and I watched a couple games, and I see their their skills and their talents. I'm like, oh wow, we have something here. So I definitely had definitely had an idea that this group was going to be special and is going to be special. But obviously, going 18-16-2 in the regular season, I never would have imagined that.
Mhm.
But I did have a feeling, especially after losing last year, because last year, 2020, I did have a heavy senior class, and I had one of my better players I've ever had, Cody Waterbury, who's playing at Western New England right now, was going to be back in the Wyatt Mills, one of my better pitchers. After losing them, I was kind of didn't know what I was going to have, because having that gap year, I didn't know who was going to get better, who's going to kind of plateau. But I got we implement a good off-season regimen where these guys are pretty much playing all year round, doing something as a team. And they busted their butt all off season. I got to give them credit. They showed up. They put in the work all the way up to pitchers and catchers. So, and then, once we got in the field, I can kind of tell, all right, have that losing that year, you just didn't know what you had until you saw it. So, but after the first few weeks, that you kind of got to vibe that, all right, we can do something here.
Was there a point though, coach, during the season where, and I know because I had the Killingly coach on yesterday, and when they were 8, 9, 10, 11 and 0, he kept telling his team throughout their winning streak before they lost 2 games to Woodstock in the doubleheader, they were back to back. He said, continuously, don't rock the boat. Let's keep this moving. Don't rock it, because once you rock it can get a little bit crazy. For you, coach, was there ever, was it something you said? Like, was there a point during the season where maybe you had to say something to kind of keep them, bring them back to being level-headed in a sense, or was that even something you had to do?
No, that was something that was definitely, especially being a young group, that was something to a focal point, is letting that success get to them. Early in the year, and I always preached, we always have goals, and our goal was to win the league championship. And I reminded that religiously. Our goal wasn't to go, 15, 16, whatever the case may be, but was to win a championship and getting better every day. And I would remind them that, we haven't done anything yet. We haven't, we haven't, we have a few wins, which feels nice, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to win a championship. And I would remind that every chance I get. And keeping these guys, level-headed. And I always say, you can't get too high in baseball, and you can't get too low. You got to stay right in that middle. And that's something I preach a lot. And that kind of helped them with the pressure, because as those wins mounted, everybody's seeing all we're undefeated and stuff like that. The pressure keeps mounted. And we had a few wins, that nice win, that walk-off win against Chippewa, and a couple other comeback wins against Platt and stuff like that, where the pressure was mounting, and we had a little bit bigger crowds and stuff like that, where some of these kids aren't used to. I got to give them credit. They bounced back and handled it well.
Coach, I think the biggest factor looking at, you mentioned the walk-off wins, and, I think of, okay, in the minor leagues, as you probably know, each level you go up, the game speeds up more. You're facing better
Yeah.
pitching. The lineups are deeper. Guys are not chasing at certain pitches. They're spitting at that pitch 3 inches off the plate. And then also, too, for the hitting side, there's more levels. Each minor league level you go up, there's another deck. There's another level that you're not used to. And I think for a young team like yourself, coach, to have to see and get used to the loud fans, a lot of people, all of that stuff. It takes an adjustment. And I think, coach, for you to be able to get the wins against Chippewa and Platt and such, if you don't get those wins, and I can't predict the future, it's hard to say, but would you say if you didn't get those wins, could it maybe have stung a little bit more? Maybe things could have gotten a little bit off kiltered at certain points of the season.
It could have. I mean, knowing my team, I don't think it would have, to a certain degree, would have been problematic. I think we would have bounced back. And, maybe the only thing I would say that could have hurt us is maybe we didn't get the home field advantage in league playoffs, because we did lock up that number 1 seed, which, locked us up those 2, important home games in the first round and the second round. And we're a better team home. We like playing home. I don't know if you've ever seen the Abbott Tech fields, or, it's a hitter's ballpark. We got music playing. It's comfortable there. The kids like it there. We have a hitting turtle. We do live BP. So we have a nice little routine when we're at home. So getting those wins, the most important thing was locking up that home field advantage, which I was stressing to them about. But we wanted to win those non-league games against Chippewa, against Wamogo, and not having, those SWC games, because of the SWC protocol, they didn't allow any non-league games happening, because we usually do play SWC schools. So that was kind of a scheduling. We didn't usually have a regular schedule. So we wanted to make sure, because we know everybody says we're a tech school, we can't be non-tech schools. So we made a point to circle those games on the calendar, and we wanted to beat those non-tech schools. So that felt good. That felt good. The kids felt good about it, and we kind of got some momentum off that. But from a scheduling standpoint, we just wanted to lock up that home field advantage. We just, because we're just such a better team at home.
Oh, it's huge to be able to play at home. It's much different. You don't have to go travel, an hour, hour and a half, so on. I mean, going back to, my former high school, which is closing at the end of the year, there was a school that traveled, and this is when Mustafa Haran was at my high school at Cigar High
Yep.
School in Waterbury.
Yep.
It's a pro school who people may not know. It's a Catholic school. And there was one team, and I'm forgetting the team. I want to say this was like 2013, 2014. It was, they had to travel like 2.5 hours. And it
Mm.
was one of those things where it was like, why even go that far when the outcome was going to be a shellacking? You know what I mean? It was like a waste of time, and it created a whole debate. And I think, like you mentioned, to have home field, knowing that you're comfortable, knowing that you don't have to travel, and for a young team like this, that could kind of project and carry that confidence through the Class M playoffs, even when you do have to go on the road at some point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And every win we got this year, and these guys settled in, they got their more confidence back, because losing that year, well, people didn't play baseball for over almost a year or two. So, getting that confidence back, in the high school season is so short. I mean, usually it's 20 games, but it was 18 for us. It goes by in a blink of an eye. So getting those game reps, and gaining that confidence and going into those high pressure situations, it benefited everybody. So that's what I told them, because early in the season we saw those moments get to us. But then as late in the season, as later the season went on, I saw the adjustments happen. Those same situations where those high pressure situations, kids weren't as nervous. And I saw in the championship game on Friday, the majority of my team has never played in a championship game before, from little league level all the way up to high school. So they weren't exposed to the championship vibe and that atmosphere. But I got to give them credit. They didn't let it get to them. They battled to the last out. And being a young group, competing against a veteran heavy Cheney Tech squad, it was nice to see. And if even if the outcome wasn't as what we wanted, but I can't get upset at how we played. I was very proud of how we left it on the field.
And I kind of want to segue to that, Coach, before we get into your first round matchup. How has the how's the vibe been? I guess I guess that's a proper word, kind of the hip word for the kids now. How is that as far as with your team? I know losing a tough game, especially in a championship. I know you mentioned they've never, a lot of them have never even been in a championship game, so it's kind of like a first. And hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
there's many more to come for this young team. But
Mm-hmm.
there's two ways to respond. It's either you feel down about yourself and you pout, and it ponders, it stays kind of like in a game. I've seen so many young players. If they boot one ball, it turns into two, turns into three, and then it starts to really go downhill. So has that been kind of like a concern, or has things kind of been a little bit better than maybe even you thought?
No, I got to give my young group. They're very, very ahead of their years. They are hungry to practice right after we lost. They wanted to get back on it. I gave them the last 2 days off, just trying to decompress, and we went today. We talked about the game, and they wanted to get right back on it and play them again next year. They wanted us to schedule Cheney Tech next year so we can go compete against them. These guys have a lot of fight in them. They're young, but they're way above their years and confidence. It's a nice way to put it.
Hey, it's all right. Every confidence, swag, wherever you want to put it. Every team has a different thing, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into obviously who you're playing against. It's good to hear about your team. Norwich Tech, 7-10, obviously playing against yourselves. You're home.
Yeah.
Kind of take me into a little bit about, without revealing too much, what are certain things that you have been trying to prepare for against, which will be a tech on tech battle between two tech schools?
Yeah. Just keep doing our same thing we've been doing all year. Got to throw strikes. Can't give them any FD bases, free walks, and make the routine play and put the ball in play. If you do those three simple things, you're going to be in 95% of the games.
Mm-hmm.
So challenge the hitters, make the routine play, and put the ball in play. And that's what I preach all year. It sounds very, very simple, but if we do those three things, I'm very confident, we'll be, the outcome will be good.
Uh,
for Abbott.
have you been able to, and again, going back because of COVID and not being able to, scout as much and be able to really kind of see the teams outside a certain area, a certain district, have you been able to get any sort of scouting reports or any sort of information? Because I know in conversations I've had with other coaches, some have had to really kind of go deep down into their treasure trove of contacts just to even get, I had a young coach who needed some help on another team, and or just not even help, but so much asking questions
Yeah.
about a certain team. And the reason why he was able to contact me is because someone who I didn't play against, but I played against their high school,
Hmm.
contacted me through Instagram. It was kind of like it was a pretty cool thing. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what we've gone to as far as 2021 because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Scout report wise, I mean, it's tough, because they play on some other side of the state. So a lot of the coaches I know in this area don't really play them.
Mhm.
So I mean, for Norwich Tech, I don't really have much of a scouting report, but for the Cheney Tech, back to the championship game, I contacted a few of the tech schools and a couple of my contacts, and they gave me a little bit of a heads up on a couple of things. Um, but for our state games, man, we're just rocking and rolling for that first game. We're going out there. We're hungry after that loss on Friday, and we're just looking to get back out there and just playing our game.
Coach, I wish you nothing but the best of luck as far as against your matchup. And, I hope to be able to see you guys have a good run. I think, again, I only saw your team for a couple innings, and I apologize
Yeah,
I didn't say hello. Didn't want to ruin the good mojo that was going on, but I really like what I saw from the team. And hopefully in the near future, I can watch more than just a couple innings.
yeah. Come down Danbury. Let me know when. We'll put out a nice front row seat for you.
I would appreciate that. The drive's a little bit long, but maybe I could make a trip down there sometime in the near future.
Or maybe next season, because I want to play up at Caner. I want to try to get a game at Municipal next year. So maybe we'll put that together.
Hey, if you get that to happen, you just let me know. That's literally right down the
Yeah.
street from my house now.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list. That's on top of the do list. So we're gonna play at a couple of nice stadiums next year. So
Awesome, coach. Looking forward to it. That wrap things
all
up
right.
for the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm on my journey to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.